Hello, Squirrel Tribe. I need to start this off with a quick apology for the feelings I'm about to hurt. It's not on purpose, but unfortunately, the truth tends to hurt some people's feelings, especially those people who are affected by said truth. So I realized something yesterday, which I've known, obviously, but it was more blatant yesterday to me, that when driving through certain neighborhoods, you may see a difference in the neighborhoods that have the Harris Walls signs in their yards versus the neighborhoods that may have a Trump Vance sign in their yard or a MAGA sign or anything else like that. A difference between those who are voting blue and those who are voting red. And that difference is going to be money. And not just money, but also common sense a lot of the times. But I have noticed that while driving through certain areas where I live in Florida, that the areas that seem to really want a Harris Walls administration are the same ones who have cars in their front yards that would never start, maybe because they're missing an engine or because all four tires are flat, or it's more of a rust bucket than anything. The same houses that they're missing parts of their roof, that the shutter has fallen off part of their house, that has chain link fences around their yard, and really to protect what? It's like a whole pile of trash. Whereas a lot of times I go into these neighborhoods that have the Trump Vance signs and the MAGA signs, and they are $1 million homes. They are nice neighborhoods with nice green lawns, with working vehicles in the car, with Fords and Chevys and Dodge and things like that. And it's interesting to me, the difference in the mindset between the two groups. In the fact that obviously not all Democrats are broke and not all Republicans are rich. That's an ignorant thought process to begin with. And I know how it comes across as I'm stating the difference between what I've seen neighborhood wise, right? But the fact of the matter is, it does feel like more Democrats are on the lower income end and also lower common sense spectrum, in my personal opinion, than many Republicans are. There's a video going around right now of some CNN reporter, some chick who went to Panama City Beach and interviewed a guy there during I guess it was like a Trump boat parade. I think that's what it was for. But he happened to have a boat and had Trump flag, whatever else. And she walks up to him, and I'm paraphrasing most of it here, but she says something along the lines of, I'm going to ask you a difficult question, but you seem to be wanting the economy to be better, but you don't seem to be hurting for money because you have a boat and whatever else. Again, paraphrasing. And that's a very triggering comment or statement for a lot of people, because she made it seem like if you own a boat, then the economy doesn't affect you. If you own a home, the economy doesn't affect you. If you own a car, the economy doesn't affect you. And that's just beyond ignorant, but it did come from CNN, so it makes perfect sense, the Democrat side, right? The problem here is that guy who responded, he was like, listen, I was in the military for most of my life. I think he said he owned his own business, and now he's retired. And, the economy is a big deal to him because now he is on like a fixed income, all this other stuff, right? His Social Security and everything else. So the economy is a big deal, but he worked his ass off to get the things that he wants in life, to have the things that he has, like the boat. Whereas when you ask a Democrat, a lot of Democrats, the same question, why are you so broke? It's, because I can't get a leg up. I can't get my foot in the door. I can't do this. I can't do that. It's a massive difference in attitude between Democrats and Republicans, in my personal opinion. The I can, as the guy with the boat, versus the I can't, as the guy that, he has a broken down car in his front yard and is relying on a bicycle or public transportation to get him from point A to point B to look for a job. And again, it sounds wrong, but if you step back and take emotion out of it and look around, it's not wrong. It's more truth than people want to admit. The people who want to have a Harris Walls administration are the same ones that are hoping that they will continue getting money from the government to sit on their ass and do nothing. The same people who want that DEI hire, because without it, they wouldn't get a job because they're not smart enough to flip the burgers at McDonald's or do any of these other things because they haven't done anything with their lives. Now, sometimes, obviously, it has something to do with where you're born, how you're brought up, the people you have in your ear, the opportunities that you have, but not everybody can play victim. If you want something in life, you will figure out how to get it. If you don't figure out how to get it, then that's on you. And again, it sounds wrong, but I don't understand people with victim mentality. I don't understand people who are, I would do better in life, but I can't. Well, that's on you then. The I can't attitude is on you. You can do anything you put your mind to. Hell, if I wanted to go into outer space, I could figure out how to do it. I don't want to, so I don't put my mind to it. You know what I mean? If I wanted to be a surgeon, I could do it. I'm smart enough, but it's not something I'm interested in, so I don't want to. I do, however, want to make enough money to support the lifestyle that I want to live, which is living in Florida, near a beach, the ability to go out to eat, go on vacation, do these things, take care of my daughter, my husband, and us as a family take care of each other. And so I do what I have to do. I work as hard as I possibly can to ensure those things happen. I don't wait for somebody to hand it to me. I don't wait for the government to hand me a check or anything like that. I don't wait for anything else. I do it for myself. And I feel like a lot of Democrats, unfortunately, don't have that I can, I will attitude. They have that do it for me because I can't attitude. And that's why we have such a problem in this country right now. Why you expect to get $20 to flip a hamburger, or why you expect to be able as a man to put on a dress and call yourself a woman and people are just going to accept it, because it's this weird lack of morals, weird lack of self-integrity, weird lack of self-worth, it seems, that's going around this country. Again, not for everybody, but unfortunately for the ones who want a Harris-Walz administration, that seems to be the case. Now, this is an old video, and I want you guys to see it. This is at a Trump rally. A Michigan mom asked Donald Trump how he plans to decrease the cost of food and groceries, and his answer is perfectly detailed, as opposed to you ask Kamala Harris, Miss Harris, Vice President Harris, person who's already in the White House and could put, a lot of these things into motion. How do you plan on decreasing the cost of food and groceries? Well, I was born to a middle-class family, and we had a green lawn, and there was a lady who took care of us, and she was a business owner, and we called her second mom. What in the absolute crap is that? Nothing that comes out of Kamala Harris's mouth is an answer to anything. They are even showing now that there was teleprompters for her interview with Oprah. Now, the teleprompter, probably a lot of it was for Oprah, so she'd know the questions to ask. But there was also a teleprompter in the line of sight for Kamala Harris, where she's supposed to answer things a certain way, which is even worse because most of her answers were dumb as dog shit, and it didn't make any sense. There's even a point in the Oprah-Kamala Harris interview where you can hear Oprah like, ugh, like, you know what I mean? Like, Kamala's answering something, and even Oprah's like, oh, man, this is rough. But anyway, I want you guys to hear the answer that this woman, or the answer that Donald Trump gives this woman. If I can get it to play. Let's see if it'll play. Wait, hold on. What are we doing? Play, work, hold. All right, I got it. Sometimes I'm technologically challenged, but here we go.
Good evening, President Trump. Thank you for taking our question. Thank you. My name is Barbara. I'm a mom of 3, a grandmother of 7, and 3 great-grands, a registered nurse, retired nurse. So I know the cost that goes into raising children and running a household. Yeah. People just can't survive now. Mm-hmm. How are you going to bring down the cost of food and groceries?
This is important.
Very good.
Listen to his answer.
So we have to start always with energy, always. I don't want to be boring about it, but there's no bigger subject. It covers everything. If you make donuts, if you make cars, whatever you make, energy is a big deal.
Thank you.
We're going to get that. It's my ambition to get your energy bill within 12 months down 50%. If I can do that, you've done a hell of a job. 5-0, not 15, 50. Interest rates are going to follow, and actually they're going to follow for another reason. The economy is now not good, and interest rates, you'll see they'll do the rate cut and all the political stuff tomorrow.
Which they did. They did a rate cut.
Will he do a half a point? Will he do a quarter of a point? But the reason is because the economy is not good. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do it. But we're going to get interest rates down, and we got to work with our farmers. Our farmers are being decimated.
Yes.
They're being absolutely decimated.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of the reasons is we allow a lot of farm product into our country, and we're going to have to be a little bit like other countries. We're not going to allow so much we're going to let our farmers go to work. And I don't know if you remember, I love the farmers because, I had many meetings as president. I have this gorgeous room with this beautiful table that seats about 35 people. And I was with the farmers. Usually everybody wants something. They all want subsidy. But I was with the farmers, and I think you might have been there actually, Sarah. I said, look, fellas, we're going to get you such a beautiful subsidy, meaning I'm going to do things. And one of the people raises and, sir, honestly, we don't want a subsidy. This is the first time this ever happened to me. Everyone they want money. They want to build windmills. We want money with these windmills. Anyway, but you know what? It was amazing. He said, almost tears in his eyes, they were getting decimated. We don't want a subsidy. We just want to play, a fair, level playing field. Mm-hmm. And I said, nobody's ever said that. And I have many industries and many groups of people from different things. They do all different things. It's probably the most dramatic I've ever seen. He didn't want anything. All he wanted was to be able to compete fairly. Interest rates.
Now, let me explain something. So the cost of energy really drives everything. When gas prices were up a few years ago during the height of COVID and during, the highest part of the reign of Biden administration, gas prices were through the roof and all of our prices started to go up. The price of anything in the grocery store went up. The price of clothes went up. The price of cars went through the roof. They say it was because of the chip shortage due to supply chain issues, but of course it's numerous other things that went into that. The energy has a lot to do with the prices of absolutely everything. And now here's the problem. This whole, 2030 agenda of everything being electric is going to absolutely destroy the economy even more, because the more that we are spending on electric, the less we are spending on fossil fuels and things like that, the higher price everything is going to go. They tell you when you buy a Tesla or you buy any sort of electric vehicle that it's going to save you so much money over the long term because you're not paying for gas, but that's not actually true. You're paying for these batteries, you're paying for absolutely everything else. Then they have to then build more electric grids. They have to do all these other things, which the cost is going to be friggin' exponential. So the more we push towards an all electric future, the more expensive things are. Think about it for your own household. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about here. When certain states like New York City itself outlawed gas stoves, and they've outlawed gas lawnmowers and leaf blowers and things like that. I can feel a piece of hair right here and it's driving me bonkers. Got it. They outlawed all these gas-powered things for landscapers. I think it was Michigan or Minnesota. I cannot remember which one. Minnesota would make perfect sense right now. They outlawed it and everybody had to go out and buy electric everything. The cost of everything goes through the roof. You have to now charge your clients more because you're having to buy all new gear, all new things. When you had a gas-powered stove or your heat was gas-powered or whatever, I can guarantee you your bills each month were way cheaper than they are with electric. And people don't understand that all of that together has a lot to do with the prices of everything that we have. The more our administration, our current administration, and the possibility of a Harris-Walz administration pushes to get rid of gas and fossil fuels and everything else and move everything electric, the more expensive everything is going to be. The technology to go electric on a lot of things is going to cost us a ton of money. They have to recoup the money that they're spending somehow, and they do it by coming after our pocketbooks, by going after your hard-earned money, so that instead of paying 97 cents for a dozen eggs like we used to a few years ago, now you're paying $3.97 for the same friggin' dozen of eggs. Instead of paying, $15 or $20 for a t-shirt, they're $30 and $40. Same everything, but because the cost of energy has gone up and the cost of building all these new things have gone up, the price gets pushed up and up and up and up, and then we get screwed at the end of the day. These corporations are still going to make their profits because they're charging us more so that they can still keep that same profit that they had when we could pay less. It is a complete shit show at the end of the day. And the Harris-Walz administration, if they were to get into power, is just going to make it worse. Thankfully, the Fed did drop their rates a couple days ago, maybe a week ago. I don't even know how much they dropped it. I'm not even going to lie. I got too much stuff in my brain and I can't remember the numbers, but it was a significant amount. It's a good amount that's going to help a lot of people, because they know we need it. They see what this administration has done to this country, and they're like, oh, these people cannot handle this much longer. And so thankfully, they have come through and they have dropped the rate some to help us out. Now, I want to bring this up to you. I have so many different things here, y'all. It's absolutely ridiculous. The problem with me is I find 800,000 things I want to talk to you about, and then I try to keep it all in one thing. Oh, it got hot in here. Hold on. I got to turn my Jeep on. Whew. It is toasting. All right, there we go. So This is RFK Jr. and I want you guys to hear this because this to me is extremely important. We're talking about the cost of energy and everything else, but we also have to look at what else is destroying our country, and it's our food. It's everything that we are putting into our bodies because they are letting all these chemicals and everything else in because it's easier for them. It's cheaper for the manufacturers to put chemicals than it is to put actual, factual, nutritious things into your food. They're going to charge you the same either way. That way they can make more profit. That way you stay sick. That way the money goes back to the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies. And it's this whole, circle, Jerk, I can't say the word out loud, of them helping each other out and we getting screwed over no matter what at the end of the day. So RFK Jr., he wants to make America healthy again, which I am hugely fond of that phrase, make America healthy again, especially if you have seen any sort of documentary ever in your life that has to do with our food supply and everything else. I am very interested in this make America healthy again, because at the end of the day, if you stop manufacturing all of these chemicals and you stop manufacturing all this other stuff, it's also going to help our energy costs at the end of the day. So I want you guys to hear what RFK Jr. has to say here. If I can get it to the beginning, we're going to pause it, turn the volume up. It's him and Tulsi Gabbard, and I don't know who they're sitting with. The screen's a little blurry, so I'm not quite sure who the lady is on the other side.
And on day one, we're going to declare an emergency like we did in COVID. But it's going to be a chronic disease emergency, and we're going to get the fluoride out of the water. We're going to get the chemicals out of the food. We're going to get the chemtrails out, the chemicals out of the chemtrails, and there's 1,000 ingredients in our food that are banned in Europe.
Yes.
And we're going to get rid of all those chemicals. And I know how to do it. And
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Too many childhood cancers, childhood issues, and it's because of the food. Listen, look at today, how many children have some sort of chronic health issue versus even 10 years ago, 20 years ago, especially before the 80s, in the 70s, there were far, far fewer sick individuals than there are now. Now, way over half the country is considered obese. They are sick and everything else. And it's because we have let big pharma and agriculture, not agriculture, but big pharma take over, and everything is about making money now instead of keeping people healthy. Doctors used to be about keeping people healthy. Now it's about putting band-aids on what's making them sick instead of fixing the issues before they ever start, right? So for RFK Jr. to come in and say that day one, they're going to treat it like, COVID and make it I guess pandemic isn't the word he used, but it is a huge deal. And I think that is great personally. Listen, there's a lot more to talk about. And I know this has kind of been all over the place, but welcome to Squirrel Tribe. That's what we do over here. I do want to just randomly mention Kamala Harris. There's this picture that I have here from CNN. It says CNN commentator slams Harris after Oprah Winfrey sit down. When has she sat down with any hostile media? Now, Scott Jennings is, of course, the Republican voice on CNN, and he's a political commentator there. And he blasted Vice President Kamala Harris on Friday, asking when she has ever done an interview with hostile media. And that's very true. If you look back at most of the things that Trump has had to do, it's been with hostile media. He was willing to have those interviews with hostile media, whereas Kamala Harris will not. She tiptoes around everything. She will only sit down with people who pretend to like her and who will, blow smoke up her ass, and yours and mine, with the way they ask the questions and don't ask the questions. She has not had one single hostile interview. What's crazy is now she's saying she wants to do another interview, another debate with Donald Trump on ABC. Once again, it's like, ma'am, if you really wanted to do these debates with Donald Trump, why did you turn down the one with Fox on September 4th that he had set up? You could have done that one, but you chose not to. Why do you suddenly now want to do another one, but you want it to be with ABC, or is it CNN? One of the two. She wants it to be with one of the two, which again is a hostile environment towards Donald Trump. And if it's with ABC, we already know they're going to give her this stuff ahead of time. Lindsey, what's-her-face, and David Muir paid $1 million each by the Kamala administration in order to do that debate between them, the four of them. And if it's with CNN, we already know how they're going to treat that as well. Dana Bash did that interview with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, where Tim Walz, I guess, was basically supposed to be like her version of a service dog. I don't know exactly what he was supposed to be, or what's it called? Emotional support dog. And that was edited like crazy. And of course, they're going to get the questions ahead of time. So if Kamala Harris really wants to do another debate with Donald Trump, it needs to be either on neutral ground or in some place where they're not going to be hostile towards him, because that's all she will willingly do, is any place that is not hostile towards her. And I feel like she needs to sack up and, you know, man up a little bit and go after, like, go talk to somebody who's not going to treat her like she's the next best thing since sliced bread. That's going to treat her exactly like what she is, which is a piece of shit who does not deserve the vice presidency, let alone a presidency. So that's my thought on that. I hope Donald Trump says no. And of course, if he says no, the Harris administration is going to call him a chicken and say it's because he's afraid to debate her, because he's going to lose the debate and whatever else. We all, with half a brain cell, know that that is fully incorrect. But of course, the Democrats don't have half a brain cell. So they're going to be like, oh, he's so scared, whatever else. And it's going to be whatever. So I feel like Donald Trump is going to say yes just to prove the haters wrong. But I personally think he should say no. I do not think he should do another debate with Kamala Harris, not because he can't do it, not because he can't win it, but because it's not fair to him to constantly subject himself to those people. Plain and simple. It's not fair to him at all to subject himself to Kamala Harris and the people who will pave the way for her to say nothing while saying everything at the same time, and not answer an actual question, but then, you know, go after him like a dog with a bone on every little thing. So, but it's not like they can ask him about January 6th, because it has been proven that he requested the National Guard way ahead of January 6th, and Pelosi and everybody else turned it down. So they can't bring that one up. They also can't bring up abortions anymore, since it has also been proven that Lindsay Davis, is that her name? When she said that Donald Trump was incorrect about his abortion up to 9 months and everything else, that was proven as also being wrong when she fact-checked him. There's a lot of things they couldn't bring up now. So maybe it is a good idea to go debate Kamala Harris again. I want your thoughts on that. Y'all let me know your thoughts on that. I will be back with more a little bit later, because like I said, I have a whole ton of stuff, but it's hard for me. I don't know if you guys have figured this out, because there's so many things that I want to talk about. It's hard for me to kind of stay in one box on stuff. I have a tendency to ping pong all over the place, and I'm trying to be a little more it's not easy for me. I'm not gonna lie. It's called SquirrelTribe for a reason. So there's that. Listen, I love y'all. Hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Hopefully I see you again later today. If not, then in the morning, but hopefully later today. Okay, bye.